local all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
Right now it's 6 o'clock. A state police cruiser was hit on I-84 in Hartford. We'll tell you what we know so far.
Police say DNA evidence has helped them crack a cold case. They think they found the man who raped 4 women back in the 80s, and he's going on trial today.
Also ahead at 6:30, we're talking election security with the Secretary of the State ahead of next month's midterm elections. But at 6 o'clock, we begin with breaking news right now in Hartford. State police are on the scene of a crash involving a state trooper cruiser. This is on I-84 West.
Yeah, this is happening between exits 48 and 47. We're getting you straight out to Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro. He's out there near the scene. Angelo, what are you seeing right now? What can you tell us?
Hey, good morning, guys. So I do want to start off with some good news right off the top. State police say there were no reported injuries during this incident, but the investigation continues into what exactly happened here. So just a heads up for drivers, if you're heading out around this area, you can expect delays. Here is a look at this scene. Again, this all happening I-84 West near exit 48, and you can see for yourself, traffic confined to just about one lane. It is moving very slowly, so again, just a heads up, give yourself some extra time if you are just about to head out the door. State police say troopers responded to a motor vehicle collision involving a state police cruiser. Police say the trooper was not in the cruiser at the time of the crash, and again, there were no injuries reported. That is all the information state police are providing us at this time. But if you take a look at the scene, you can see what looks like a black Jeep on a tow truck right there, about to be towed away. State police not giving us any details about if or how that vehicle is involved in this incident. Of course, as we get updates about what exactly happened here, what led up to this crash, we'll pass those along to you at home. But I do want to send things over to Fox 61's Lauren Zenzi, who has more details about the delays people can expect in this area. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Angelo. Like you said, as of right now, there is a pretty significant police and fire presence on the scene. It is good to hear that there is no injuries to report. Do want to mention, though, that traffic is moving extremely slow on that westbound side of I-84. Also, the southbound side of I-91, where we veer off to I-84, that is definitely really backed up at this point. This is coming from 91, coming from the Windsor area to that I-84 interchange will take you a little extra time. Traffic moving at about 19 miles an hour closer to the crash. And then as we take a look in the Hartford Tunnel, you can see traffic barely moving over there. This is right near between exits 49 and 50. So definitely give yourself a lot of extra time if you are in this area until this is clear. It is good news that we're seeing one of the vehicles at least on a tow truck at this time. So hopefully it'll be clear relatively soon. Also, we were seeing a crash in the southbound side of I-91. A tractor trailer was over in the left-hand shoulder. But as you can see right here, it's not really causing any insult to injury for the morning commute as of right now. Traffic is moving just fine on the northbound side of I-91. In the New Haven area, New Haven drive times 91 and 95 north and southbound all moving. We have a little bit of a slowdown on the southbound side of I-95. New Haven to Bridgeport will take you about 25 minutes. Traffic moving just under 50 miles an hour. As we take a live look out there, you could see that heavier volume on the southbound side of I-95 in both Bridgeport and Fairfield, but overall not really too bad to complain about as of right now. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with the conditions out on the road all morning long. But for now, Tim and Erica, back over to you.
All right, Lauren, thanks. Certainly still very wet out there. We're getting an update on weather and the situation throughout the day with meteorologist Rachel Piscatelli. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, good morning. So we are dealing with some patchy, dense fog out there, too, which may impact your morning commute. So you want to give yourself some extra time out on the roadways. In addition to that, we do have some light rain and some drizzle across portions of the state. Anything out there now will likely dry out a little bit later on this morning and into the early afternoon. So we're not expecting a soaking rainfall like we saw yesterday afternoon. We'll see showers redevelop tonight into tomorrow morning. So you'll look at our current visibility at about a half a mile in Hartford, Oxford, and Monroe. More of the same along New Haven 95, reduced to less than a mile visibility. It is mild out there. Temperatures are in the upper 50s and low 60s, 61 in the Elm City. And you'll notice we also have some light drizzle in portions of the state and in western Connecticut, getting in on a little bit more in the way of a decent shower towards Newtown, up towards Brookfield this morning, along along 84 towards Cornwall, into Goshen along Route 63, and over just east of Warren this morning with a more moderate rain. So at the bus stop, foggy conditions are expected. It'll be mild into the upper 50s today. For the ride home, it dries out, but mostly cloudy skies are expected with high temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. We'll detail out when we expect to see drier conditions coming up in just a bit.
Rachel, thank you. 6:05 this morning. Has a nearly 40-year-old cold case been solved? Police think so. They said they found a rapist through DNA evidence, and he's due in court today. Police believe Michael Sharp sexually assaulted 4 women at gunpoint back in the summer of 1984. Each of those cases went cold for decades until newer DNA technology led to Sharp's arrest in November of 2020. According to investigators, a distant relative of Sharp's submitted a sample for a genealogical test, and the DNA was similar to crime scene DNA that led them to Sharp. He's the former CEO of the charter school group that ran Jamoke Academy in Hartford. He's facing 4 counts of first-degree kidnapping.
Also happening today, lawmakers are expected to join workers at Wyndham Hospital as they're set to strike again this morning. The more than 200 workers on strike are part of Local 5099 and made up of technical and support staff. Now, this includes patients' care technicians, environmental services, x-ray techs, and also kitchen staff. They're calling for better working conditions, and a main concern is the cost of insurance going up.
We don't feel safe at work. You know, we're exhausted and, like I said, not respected. And we want it to be safe for our community, for our patients to come in and not have us all be exhausted trying to take care of them.
The president of Wyndham Hospital responding to the strike in a statement saying she's disappointed by the union's decision to walk out, saying, quote, "A strike is not in anyone's best interests and will not help to resolve our negotiations." Wyndham Hospital has fully responded to every one of the issues the unions identified as most important to them. Now, happening tonight in Stonington, members of the Board of Ed are expected to hold a special meeting to talk about the display of pride flags at school. According to the agenda that was posted online, members are going to hear recommendations from the superintendent of schools and the chairman of the Board of Ed in support of allowing those flags. And there will also be an opportunity for the public to comment on these recommendations as well.
Today at the Capitol, some mayors and current and former state lawmakers are expected to speak out in support of an early voting referendum. This November, there will be a question on the ballot asking Connecticut voters, and we quote here, "Shall the Constitution of the state be amended to permit the General Assembly to provide for early voting?" As of now, our state does not have an early voting option. Today's event will be held at 1 p.m. on the south side steps of the state capitol. Now, there was some election controversy in Enfield after somebody removed campaign signs from outside a business earlier this month. As of right now, though, both parties have signs up at that business. But this is the sort of thing that happens every election. One voter told us why she feels these signs, no matter where you stand on the issues, are so important.
It's really crucial that you get involved with everything from local Board of Education material and voting and getting people out to the polls and getting yourself out to the polls.
If you are caught stealing these signs, you could face larceny charges, which are punishable by up to 3 months in prison, up to a $500 fine, or both. You could also face a trespassing charge. That carries a possible $2,000 fine and or a year in prison. Ahead in the 6:30 half hour, our Julia LeBlanc is talking about election security with our Secretary of the State, Mark Kohler, in Fox 61's Turnout Tuesday story.
Right now at 6, authorities say a teenager was hit by a car near his bus stop. This happened in Norwich. Now, it happened just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning near the intersection of Central and 3rd Avenues. Firefighters say the 13-year-old boy ran in front of an oncoming car while crossing the street. The boy said his back hurt after he was hit, and he was brought to Bacchus Hospital. The driver of the car was not injured. Norwich police officers are now looking into the circumstances behind the crash. Of course, an incident like this one serves as an important reminder for drivers to remain vigilant. Earlier this year, state police sent out tips. They included be extra cautious at bus stops if you see kids waiting to cross the street. especially in the early morning hours and also in the afternoon. They also ask you to slow down and just be patient and also ditch the distractions.
A new report shows that elementary school-aged children have really fallen behind in school. The nation's report card tested hundreds of thousands of 4th and 8th graders, and no state was spared from setbacks. The report specifically showed a major drop-off in both math and reading comprehension when compared to before the pandemic in 2019. The president of the Connecticut Education Association, Kate Diaz, said the test scores weren't surprising for her or her colleagues. They know students fell behind. She said teachers have been adjusting curriculum to make up for the learning students missed.
The pandemic has been difficult. It's been difficult for our students. And that's not a terminal situation. That is something that we are really capable of recovering from, but it's going to take time.
She said to overcome those disparities, it's really about support for both students and teachers. She said that districts need to focus on smaller class sizes, recruiting and retaining teachers, and equitably funding all schools. She also suggested that parents have a conversation with their child's teacher if they feel their child is struggling.